I'm a historian to a T. I love history. I love talking history, and I could talk about my hobbies, which is unusual, brick collecting, a heavy hobby, but I love it. And I have got 7,000 in my yard, and I'm not allowed to bring any more home at my age now, 79, because the yard is full of them. But I love the history of them, and I started 60 years ago. I seen these bricks and I thought, oh, and I thought I might bring one of them home. I want to build a pathway instead of concrete. I didn't like concrete, so I said to my wife, we're going to build a path down there and it's going to be all bricks. Where are you going to get them from? I said, you watch. I said, I got this little shopping trolley and I'll go around. I see a building coming down, I'll take a brick. So I watch buildings coming down in Newcastle. I start recording them, where they come from, their names on them. Then I start writing them in a book, which I've done. I've got 5 books on them, which I've been in, and they're all over the world. They're even in South Africa. I've got a, at the library in New York, my bricks are in there, pictures of them, and I have all the information in these books in those libraries. So they are all over the world. San Francisco, big earthquakes, recorded everything of those. Wasn't allowed to bring any home from there because I had enough here. I used to get them at Stockton because that's where all the rubble used to go from the earthquakes. San Francisco, all that rubble came to Australia in the sailing ships. And people used to say, what do you find there? I said, I find American coins, I find everything, but mostly I'm after the bricks. And then I started finding them from Sydney, Melbourne, Western Australia. I got them from, I did 2 trips on the Ghan to get to Western Australia at this brickyard to get a brick. All the way on the train to get that brick home. And I didn't get it because the bloke said, no, you can't take them from here. They're Western Australia. I said, oh, well, I'll just keep looking, I'll find one. So I found all places to go to. I was there for a week and I go around where they were, the brickyards, they're gone. And I was looking for bricks there because I'd find them. They were still there, you know. They were just history in the making. So I recorded all that. Every Western Australia brick I got, it's all recorded. Every brickyard, everyone from Victoria, everyone is recorded in books. I've got them at home. And even the ones I tried to get out of England, they wouldn't give them to me. But I had more than them because I collected fire bricks for the BHP, and we used to buy fire bricks before 1870 in Australia from over there. We didn't have fire bricks here, only it came later. And I go over to England, I said to the bloke, you got any bricks? I bought all my drawings, have a look at these. Oh no, he said, we haven't got those ones. You know where they are? On the riverside of BHP. That's where they dumped them after they used them in the BHP. And I used to go over there and go through all the rubbish to get these bricks. And they only had like a number, like it'd have a B, P, it'd be Warners Bay Potteries, but it'd be WBP. I thought, who's that? So I got to know this bloke. He lived at Katara. He worked there for 30 years. So we corresponded, and he gave me all the information about these letters of on those bricks, because he told me they used to get the clay from out near Parks, Dubbo, anywhere, to make these fire bricks. And now, that was amazing, because I'd found these bricks with nothing on them, just letters. But they gave me that information of what they were made, or where they come from, and where the clay come from. It didn't come from Newcastle. It come from Parks or Dubbo or even at Warners Bay. There was a Warners Bay potteries. It was run by Turtons, and they used to have a brickyard out there, Warners Bay. The hole's still there. It's up on the hill there. I said, you can just go there and look around. You might find some bricks, but I've got them all, because everyone was delivering those bricks from those places to make bricks. And Newbolds was a big brickyard in its day. It was at Waratah, and mate, we even dug at the Broken Hill tip. Mates of mine went there. They got pottery from Warners Bay, and it was at that tip, Broken Hill. Now, I got out there because they were doing gold digging and looking for things, and these little dishes, and they got Warners Bay pottery on them. Oh, mate, when I got one of those, I said to the bloke, I'll give you $25 for that, because I never seen one. Yeah, right. And the next time another bloke went out there, he dug some, so he gave them to me. I said, oh, thanks, mate. It's just Newcastle's history to get all the way to Broken Hill. For this little dishes, they used to stir the gold in at the pottery works. Oh, mate, they were the most beautiful thing, a piece of pottery you could ever find, you know. And they're at Broken Hill rubbish tip, eh? Got a long way, but I kept getting them, you know. And there's a tip out there. It's about 50 or 60 acres. You never dig it. It's absolutely tip. It's got all sorts of pottery in it. All our Newcastle stuff.
So can I ask, what is a fire brick?
A fire brick's one they used in the kilns at BHP. They'd fire up the bricks so they could melt and make the steel. And they're fire bricks. And originally the best ones come from Lithgow, because they used to have pottery over there, and there was a lot of industry over there. And this mob from around here, they decided to tee up with a brickworks in Lithgow to make bricks here. And Hughes and Jury was the one bloke. He come from there, and he decided to join up with Newbolds in 1918 to come here to make bricks. And he's been making, well, he's not now, but BHP bought him out eventually. He's gone. But it was a big yard in Waratah. It was a big, big yard. And
so why didn't they make them earlier out here? They just didn't have the
there was no industry for it. No, BHP was the first one, 1918 I think it was. And this Newbold bloke was in Lithgow, and he was also teed up with a bloke from Merriweather, Hughes and Jury. Jury came here to make bricks with Hughes. Hughes was making fire bricks too at the junction, and he had he come here and joined with him, became a partnership. Eventually it fell through, but Newbolds kept making bricks at Waratah, and he had massive collection. He had everything. He had Newbolds made the most beautiful fire bricks. His house is on the top of Newcastle Road, opposite the hospital. There's a house there. It's owned by Lee Rowan now. That house is what Newbolds, two brothers, built that house. And every brick in that house had to be inspected before they built that house. So every brick in there has come from Newbolds. That's why it's yellow. It's right on the corner. It's a beautiful garden. Lee Rowan owns it now. And he had the most incredible brickworks. The two brothers, for years, they just made the best bricks, best fire bricks. Yeah. And a lot of people in the city didn't want to collect them. I did, because we had fire bricks here. BHP, we had, everything was here. Yeah. Industry, till it went.
So what about, what's the difference in the ash, in the clay that came from Bathurst and out west compared to the bricks that were made in Newcastle? Was there a difference?
Oh no, it was just good clay. They got it from anywhere. Everywhere they found clay, like up at Stroud, you'd find a hill and they want to build a church. They found the clay there on that side, so they built the church. And they were just built there. Everybody teed up, built their church on that hill, all made by the bricks from that clay underneath it. And it all came out of there. So Stroud and places like anywhere in the valley, up around Aberdeen, Muswellbrook, they all made bricks to suit the area they were living in. So all those bricks, they're not convict, but they are well-made sandstock bricks. They'll never break, never break. Like these ones today, they've got extruded holes in them. They're made by pushing it through a machine and pushing the holes out. So there's less clay in the brick. Those holes is less. And that's why you're not getting, that's why they break. You know, people just think, oh, these are strong bricks, but they're not. You had a solid brick, all clay, the best one you could get. That's why people today, they want to build something, they say, oh, you got any solid bricks? I said, oh, yeah, got a few. Like, I went down to at Walls End Brickworks, and it was all solid bricks. They were red bricks, because the red-bellied black snakes lived in the brickworks, so they call them red bellies. I've got a few. And you went down there, and the place was full of snakes all the time. You know, you'd say, I'd go over there, and they were pulling it down. I thought, oh, there could be snakes here, you never know. And sure enough, in the dam in there was the dam where they got the clay out, the snakes were floating in it. You didn't go in the dam. It was just green with all the iron and that in it. Same up at Thornton, the other one was up there. There was a big yard there. There was yards everywhere. People had the Thornton Fire Brick Works. Oh, they made the most beautiful bricks. And they used to have workmen there, and they'd make a little bit of a memento after work. They'd finish work at 3 o'clock, and they'd say, you can make something. So they'd make a dog or something, and it was called a workman's piece. I've got one, and it's got a dog in it. It cost me $1,000 to buy it, but I bought it for my grandson because he'll never see them. And it's got Warners Bay pottery underneath it. They had a tiger for their trademark. I got a bloke that had the mould. He lived at East Maitland. I said, can you make me one of those? He said, yeah, I'll go down to the old brickworks and I'll get some clay out and I'll make you one. I've got the mould. Here he comes with this mould. I says, you're going to make me one of them? He said, yeah, I'll make you one. He said, you'll have one forever. I said, oh, good. So he made me this tiger. in clay, fired it. He made one for another bloke, and I said, "Oh, if you make one for him, how about giving me one?" And he said, "Righto." He's since passed away now. And he was, oh mate, I went to his house. He used to make anything all around the yard. He'd have little rabbits, everything. He'd make all sorts of things in his time at the brickworks. You know, he'd have all these little moulds and he'd make them up just to get a mould of that. And he'd get the clay down now. This is only 2 years ago. Out of the old pit, it's still there. And he'd take a bit of clay, take it home, mould it up, put it in the furnace, made me a beautiful.
God.
You know, he made it for me.
So amazing, isn't it? I think there's still
And I've got it at home.
Yeah.
I've got it at home, and I couldn't throw that away. That bloke, he gave me that mould 60 years ago, and he still had the mould. He could still make them.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question about the colour of bricks?
Yes.
So what determines the colour?
The amount of clay they put into it. Sometimes they'll burn wood, and that gives you the colour. Up at other side of Kempsey, there was a brickyard there. He burnt nothing else but wood in the furnaces to break the bricks. And every brick that come out of there had the markings of wood. There was wood in the brick because it was in the fire. And there was one at Kempsey, and they used to just burn nothing else but wood in the furnaces. They wouldn't burn coal or anything because to give them the texture of the brick, a different colour. And that way, this one at Kempsey had all this dark spots in it where they used to just burn the wood, and the wood markings went into the brick. Amazing. Beautiful. And that was a Kempsey Brickworks. I've got one at home. Actually, one of the Gullivers there might have some in it because they were made in Newcastle, and they've got that tinge in them too, you know. So.
Did they burn anything else with the clay?
No, it was mainly only wood, and there was just to fire that fire brick up. It's just used coal in cessnock. There was a lot of coal. There was a lot of, but most of the time it was just wood in those old early furnaces, BHP ones.
And you mentioned that the clay from Wallsend was quite red.
Yes, because it was, well, they got the nickname with the red-bellied black snakes because they were in the pit, and you could, every time there was all these black snakes, so they called them red bellies. And they got a real red tinge in them, and you can tell them. You can stand at a building like that. Oh, they're all, yeah, they're Wallsend bricks, not marked, Wallsend. You know, this chap a couple of weeks ago came to me and he had this metal brass plaque and it had Wallsend on it. I said, no, it's not a brick, not for marking bricks. He said, oh, he said, Wallsend on it. I said, yeah, but it's not made for marking bricks. I said, I'll give you one with, says New Bowls, and it's made to mark the brick, number 4. I've got the stamp. They threw it out because it was, they said, oh, we don't want all that. Anyway, the bloke up the road, he was working there, and he says, every second piece of brass or all that sort of stuff, he put it in the bucket and they were throwing it out. So he brought it home and he says, oh, give that to Sherman. Anyway, I got this brass one. It's got New Bowls on it, number 4. And I haven't found that brick yet, but I'm still looking. I might get one day somewhere. Someone's got to have it because I've got the brass stamp that went in the machine to do the bloody, to mark it. So I went out. I went out to Barnsley. There was a power station out there. Oh, that might be out there. I went out there, and the bloke said, it's on that side of the creek. No, it's on that side. Anyway, he told me where it was. I went on the wrong side. So I was over there one day scratching along this bloke's fence, and he said, what are you doing? I said, oh, I'm just looking for Newcastle bricks. I said, the power station was in this road. Oh, right, he said. He said, don't take any out of my side. He said, I'll lose me road. I said, I won't do that, mate. I was just going to take an odd one. Anyway, next minute, I found the place where they were dumping them. And I said, oh, well, I better go over and have another look. Took the wheelbarrow, went over. I thought, oh, I'll have another look. Never found that number 4. I'm still looking for it. You got a number 4 one at your place? You got one, number 4?
Wow.
Because I got the brass sign. They stamped it.
I love him. I think he's been.
What'll I do with that?
So did many of the stamps exist?
Oh, yeah.
They do.
Waterloo had a really nice one. Waterloo had one. It was a round piece of pottery, and it went down into the pipe, and it numbered. It's got Waterloo Fire Brick Company on. I got the stamp because when they left that brickworks, they were left on the bench. They just walked out, and this bloke knew, and he went in there, and he got one of these stamps for me. I said, "Oh, have you got one for me?" Yeah. He said, "Used to stamp the pipes." I said, "Oh." Anyway, because I collect sewer pipes too, this bloke had the pipe, and I showed it at our bottle club at the day that over at the race course. And I had the pottery, and I had the piece of sewer pipe, and it was exactly the same stamp. I thought, oh. And I gave it to him at his place. I never asked him for him back, but I was going to ask him one day. No, don't, Ian. Just let him have it. He's happy with it. I said, oh, righto. So I never got it back off him, but it's sitting in his back door, this big sewer pipe about that high, and it's got the stamp on the side, and I've got the stamp to do it.
So tell us one of the funniest stories of
I had a shovel about 2 o'clock in the morning getting the bus home, see, and he said, what do you do for a living? I said, I work for the council. Had to work back tonight. I said, where were you working? Oh, just near the old co-op store. There was a place where I said, we're getting a few bricks. Yeah, and I was covered in mud and rained, and I was standing in the rain. And this bloke said, you got a bit dirty today? I said, yeah. He said, don't sit on the seat on the bus. I said, you'll dirty all the bus. I said, oh, I won't sit on your seat, mate. I'll stand up till we get to Crossroads. And I said, I promise I won't come back on the bus again. Oh, well, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I said, yeah, I know. We had to work back tonight. we had to work back, you know. And it was, oh, God, it was just so funny. Oh, mate, we were. I was in the hole looking for bricks.
I don't think he knows how.
And it was about 6 foot deep, and it was full of water. And they said, what were you doing down there? I said, well, there's bricks in there. I want them. I was at Wickham. There was a place there that they had the old hotel, and there was these bricks called CB. I thought, oh, that's different. I might grab one of those. And I got one, got it home, and I found out it was a brick from Hamilton. They had and it was from the old corner of Hamilton there, and it was a brick that had, I said, what's the CB stand for? He said, oh, it was part of the original chemist shop in Hamilton. They had this brick. And he said, have you found any of those? I said, no, never found them. But I found the history bit in the paper. There was a history about this place, and this bloke wrote a story about this place in Hamilton, and these bricks were CB. I said, oh, that must be the same bloke. He owned the pub at Wickham. It was him. He owned the pub. He had his own bricks made for the pub. Well, I got them too.
So
Oh,
how
mate.
did you carry your bricks around?
A shop and trolley cost me $2 at an op shop, and it had two wheels. One of the wheel broke on it, so I had to fix it there and then to get it home from Wickham. That was over at Stockton. The wheel fell off, so I had to put a stick in it and a bit of a nail or something so I could get the wheel to go again.
Story of my life.
and I thought, oh well, I'll get it home somehow. And I'd finished work about 4 o'clock that day. I told the girls in the nursery, I'm going home now. They said, what are you going home for? Oh, I got to go. But I was going to Stockton. See, the bricks were over there. And they took that fence down near the railway station, and it was all Botel bricks. Beautiful old bricks. And they dumped them at Stockton, see? I said, oh, I'm going over there to get some of them. So I went over. This is about 10 o'clock at night to get these bricks, otherwise I wouldn't have got them. And there they are, all dumped in Stockton, along the edge of the river. I said, oh, I'll get one of them. I took about 5. And I was going through that pile the other day and I found them. I know where they are. They had Botel written on them. They were in the water. I had to go through the water to get them out. I was scared stiff there might have been a shark come in there. You never know. You never know. The police will get you. You're taking bricks from there.
So tell me about Botel, the Botel Brickworks.
Joseph Botel, he was in Llewellyn Street, Merewether. Right where South Newcastle Leagues Club is. His brickyard was there. Lady on the corner, I knew, my wife knew her. So I went over with my wife one day and we met this lady, and she said, my house belonged to Botel. I said, how'd you know that? She said, it's on my deeds for the house. It was her, originally was his, owned all that property in Llewellyn Street. So I said, oh, can I have a look at your deeds for your house? She showed me. I was never going to copy it. I thought, oh, no, I better not. Anyway, I'll bring you some round. So I went over there one day and I said, can I dig in the backyard? Every time you dug in the backyard, you dug up Botel bricks. The whole yard was full of them. And they were everywhere. And I says, you built on a brickyard? She said, yeah, my house belonged to Joseph Botel on the corner, still there. Anyway, she said, I said, I'll bring you one over and we'll photograph it on the front step. I took a one over, a full one, photographed it. She was a lovely lady. She passed away since. Anyway, I took this brick over and I put it on the front step. Took a photo of her and the brick to say that it come from Botel. Well, she was so excited. She said, every time I dig up the backyard, she said, I always get Botel's bricks. I said, yeah, you will, because the whole yard was here. So we had just, every time I went over there, my wife said, what are you doing? I said, oh, I'm just going out the back to have a look at the yard. I'd go out there scratching around. I'd dig up a few more bricks. Anyway, she said, don't go over where the club is, South Leagues Club, because that was their yard. I said, oh, I'll go over and have a look. And the whole yard, BH, it was all bloody bricks. Everything was bricks. This whole Botel yard. I got a photo of it. There was a bloke doing some photographing of the yard. It was still there. and then they turned it into the club. You could guarantee if you dug on that property today, you would get Botel bricks every time, because that's what it was. It was Botel's brickyard. Unbelievable.
So do you know much about the Botel family? Do they come
Yes.
from England?
Though I think originally they would have come from England. He was the mayor of Merewether. He was high up. He was had a big yard, huge place. They made all these bricks, and they used to make them with Merewether on them. They'd have Merewether on the brick, and that's the only place you could buy them. Or wherever you build a house in Merewether, you use Botel bricks. So the school, Junction School, is all bricks. It all belongs to Botels. The original school is all Botel bricks. Doesn't matter where you go in Merewether or in the Junction, you'll dig up bricks from Botel. It was one of the biggest yards there. And the one with Merewether, I've got one. You never find them, because they were all built in houses in Merewether. And the school, the Junction School, was all Botel bricks. And it was starting to fall down, the old school. I said to the lady, the principal at the school, I said, if you want to replace any bricks in that place, they're coming out. I said, I'll give you some. You can put them back in there, because I've got them. Because they had them. The pottery was across the road, Hughes's, and Botel was next to them. You know, they were huge pottery works, biggest. Oh, mate! And he was the mayor of Merewether in those days.
So were there any other pottery works in Newcastle, or just Botel's and Hughes's?
No, there was Botel's, there was Hughes's in the Junction, there was Hughes and Jury, there was Gulliver down on between Merewether and Adamstown. There was a brickyard there called Gulliver. He made, this is fair income, I read it in a book, 6 million bricks. So if you can't find a Gulliver around Newcastle, there's something wrong. You'll find them anywhere. Everywhere you go, Gulliver. His name was John Gulliver. He had a daughter. She died in Newcastle. She's buried at Christchurch Cathedral. Her grave was bulldozed when they put that club behind there. It was called the Men's Club. The grave was bulldozed for the new car park, and guess where her grave is? Her headstone is right next to that car park. So it was called the Men's Club, and they actually took some of the graves from Christchurch Cathedral to put their car park in, and her grave, that little girl, is buried there. The headstone's still there. I know where it is. I've researched it. Her father died in Gore Hill in Sydney. He's buried in that cemetery on Newcastle, not Newcastle, in Gore Hill in Sydney. He wasn't buried up here, but he was buried there, and his grave's there. But it's sad because he was one of the busiest brickmakers in Newcastle, and he had the potential to stay here. But he went down there with a serious operation, and he died there at Gore Hill, and he's buried there. But his daughter, that's a shame that grave's like that. But it's the way Newcastle have done to their cemeteries. They've not cared about anything, and they still don't.
No.
You know,
No.
even, you know, down on Cottage Creek there was a cemetery there. And for years, no one done nothing to it. Next minute they put a hotel on top of it. So what do? I knew it was a cemetery. I went down there. And here's all these bricks just laying there where they bulldozed it all. Took all the graves out. They said they took them over to Sandgate, but they didn't. They're buried. The people are still buried there. And the hotel's on top of them. And they were, the bricks I got out of there, I just looked at them, I thought, no, don't take them from here, it's a cemetery. So I didn't. I took one, because I knew that was a cemetery, Cottage Creek Cemetery. You know, like Hannell's grave was there, and it was getting almost fallen over, and it was all built with Gulliver's bricks. And I said to him, I said to the council, do you want me to repair that? Because I'll give you the Gulliver's bricks to redo that cemetery, redo that grave with the Gulliver's bricks. They didn't do it. They used other bricks. Instead of me saying, I said to him, I said, I'll give you the Gulliver's bricks, which I had, and I said, I'll get it repaired for you. And they didn't do it.
So Ian, what would be the oldest brickworks in Newcastle?
The oldest, well, you'd nearly say Gulliver or Botel, either one of those. It'd be one of them. They're about the same. They were about the same time. They had their yards. Gulliver was a huge place. You know where today there's all those houses down Glebe Road, and they're all housing commission places. That's where the yard was. And they had that yard where those houses are, you'd always get a Gulliver there, always. And I said to him one day, I said, that's where the yard was. No, it wasn't. I said, yes, it was. I said, I'll show you a photo. I showed you the brickyard went from Glebe Road down to Hamilton, and it was all yard right through to there. All the brickyard, Gullivers. And it went right to Adamstown. Then there was Adamstown Steam Brick Company. That was another yard. That was owned by Port Stephens Fire Brick Company. They owned that lot. And we used to go down there, and you'd find these bricks, PSB, and I said, oh, that's Port Stephens Fire Brick Company. He was the same bloke that owned it, you know. And I said to myself, I've got to find one down here. Sure enough, I did. Because there was houses all the way along there, and they were knocking them down and putting new ones up. And as soon as they knock them down, I'd go in there looking. And the bloke would say, what are you doing? Oh, I'm looking for bricks. And then they'd knock it down, gone. And the next minute, they knocked down Wickham Railway Station. And that was a yard, but it was full of bricks. So I said to the bloke one day, I said, can I have one of those bricks off that station? He said, what do you want it for? I said, I collect them. I said, I want one from that Wickham Railway Station, please. I got one. He had a truck there, and he was putting them in the truck and taking them to Cessnock, building houses with them.
Wow.
That's where they went.
So what about Customs House? Can you tell me much about the bricks that might be in Customs House?
Yeah, they're Merriweather. Yeah, they're not a Dutch brick. They say they are, but all the paperwork you get around Newcastle, they come from Dutch fired bricks. They're not. They are Botel. I mean, originally the yard was, well, it was part of, I think there was a bit of Botel in it, but I don't know. Because the railway station had red bricks in the second bed. It was built in stages too. And the red bricks belonged to Botel, because I waited one night for the bloke to open the gate to get the red brick was inside the yard. And I said, you're not allowed in railway station property. He said, I'll have to sit here and wait till he comes back out. So eventually he come out, but I sneaked in when he opened the gate. And I says, I'll get that red brick. I know that brick because it's red and it belongs to Botel. Anyway, it was the second stage of the station that was built. The first bit was a real old brick. I've got one, but there's no name on that. The second bit was Botel, and the third bit was another part of the station. So I thought, I'll just wait here till he goes. He'll leave that gate open. He didn't leave it open, so I waited for him to go in, do what he had to do, and I sneaked in and got it. Anyway, I got the brick, and I'm sitting there, and he didn't come out, so I just sat there, and I thought, I'll move now, I'll go home. As I got the brick out, the gate's opening. I thought, oh no, he's coming in. No, he's going out. I better wait. So I had to wait for him to go before I got the brick. And I thought, oh God, I'm going to get caught here. And my father worked on railway, see, and he said, if you're caught on railway land, mate, you're gone. I said, no, I won't get caught. I'll just sneak in. And I snuck in and got it. And I could see it where it was, and I thought, I'll get that brick. I waited for him to go.
With your shovel?
I got it. I thought, I'll get it off you. Anyway, I waited one night down in the Delaney Hotel, and the council was working on the footpath, and it was raining. And the next minute, you going to wait for that brick? Gulliver. I said, yeah, but I've got a broken one, but I'll get a full one there. I could see them in the water. They were doing the gutter. I waited for a while, and it poured down. I said, oh, you're still going to wait? Yeah, I'm waiting till they're gone. So I waited till the council blokes went, and I got down in the water. I got one. Anyway, I thought, I've got one of those bricks. No, I've got another one. Here's another one. So I took two. And they come back the next morning, they said, I didn't see any. I come back the next morning, had a look, and they were in there still working, but there was plenty of bricks in there. And I couldn't get them out because they were down in the water, and I couldn't stay there all night. So I waited till the morning. So I waited till the morning, about 1 o'clock, and then I went home. And I got the two bricks. Couldn't make it. Oh, mate, I had to have them.
So is there much of a brick collecting community in Australia?
Yeah, there's a lot in Sydney.
Yeah.
A lot of collectors down there. Yeah. When we first put the book out in 2017, there was a bloke from Manly. He used to come up to my place and look at my bricks, and he'd photograph mine for the first book he ever did, and I give him all mine, and he photographed them. That was the first book. It was $9 to buy. Now it'll cost you about $300 for that same book. You can't buy it anymore. It was published in Hong Kong. He did all the work, $6,000 worth. I didn't do anything. He was a school teacher, and he took all the information and made the book. And anyway, the next one we did was in Maitland with Historical Society. They made a few bricks up there, and I got all my name in those books, all my collection, and she published a book. It cost $10. Can't buy it. Nowhere now. And then the third book, one of the third ones, I did one for the council, Newcastle City Council, when they had the museum, and they come and interviewed me there. One of the books, the last one that came out, it cost $200 to buy. You can't buy that anymore. Cannot buy it anywhere. A copy of that went all over the world, ended up in the New York State Library. I went over there to have a look. I didn't have enough time because my son was with me, and I says, can I go in and see if that book's there? He said, we haven't got time to be there too long. So I went over, I went in, oh mate, they had a room there, a library, there was 800,000 books. And I would have had to go through the whole lot. I would have had to spend a week there. And the girl said, well, it's in one of those rooms there. I looked up, I thought, mate, I'll be here all day and night for a week. I couldn't get in to do it. Yes.
So do you know much about the Hughes family?
Yes, I do have the family history.
Yeah.
Everything. I have a book on their complete history of their family, all their workings. I've been to all the funerals when the people have died. Kate Hughes, she was a lovely lady. Oh, and I knew her so much. And when she died, I went to the funeral because she was a lovely lady. She was a beautiful woman. And she was a great, great granddaughter of the original founder. And I went to the funeral and I got a nice card from her, and I've still got her name. Because to me, the Hughes family was like a family to me, because I had so much history. All the family tree, everything was there. Even all their family history is in one book. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So you might have noticed Gemma's been doing a great job scanning in the background.
Has she?
Yeah. So have a look. Yeah, so that's a 3D scanner.
Yeah. What do you got there? My brick.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is there. Yeah.
So do you want to go over and have a look? And I'll just take this off you for the moment.
It was called Burwood because it was where the pottery works was, and they had all the, it was just the clay was made there. Everything was there.
Everything on
And it was called Burwood before Merriweather. And to me, that brick is priceless. I've got, they come out of the, when they pulled the factory down, there was bricks coming out everywhere. And they said I could dig there. I was digging over there, but I'd already been there before, because the Hughes' factory went under the road, Hopkins Street, and went to the other side of the road. And the potteries were still there under the road, because I found them. I said, look at them, they're going to cover them up. They covered them up. The road went across them, and they're gone. Well, those pottery works, they were unbelievable. I can still remember them there. I can remember all the brickyards when they were knocking it down. The chimney came down on September, what was it, 15th, 1981. And I was over there that night. We were waiting for the chimney to come down to get a brick. And I thought, no, I'll get one before, because next minute they bulldozed it and took it down, and everybody rushed over to get a brick. I said, you're a bit late, because I've already got them. And I had them before the chimney come down. But when the chimney come down, mate, there was some bricks there. These ones were all just named, you know. I picked a lot of them up, but I'd already dug a lot before that. You know, there's just, they were there. Anywhere with, if a house come down in Merriweather, you went and dug for them. Burwood.
Are these, like, the when they have the words in the bricks, is that what's called a frog, or the maker's mark?
Oh yeah, that to me, that's the history.
Yeah.
Hughes and Jury history, because it's part of, you won't find bricks with that on it anymore. They're only in that factory. And that Hughes and Jury come from Lithgow, and they combined it to make another brickworks. And it was called Hughes and Jury's Burwood, Newcastle. And you know, but they're not around. You know, you don't see them. You know, I've got about, probably 4 or 5. I've got one with 3 fingers like that in it, that they picked it up. 3 fingers. And the holes are still in it. They picked it up out of the factory.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this is what it looks like when you can scan it in.
Yeah,
You can see all of the little
yeah, everything there.
and the grain
Yeah.
where it comes through.
Oh, they were gorgeous brick. Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's where it's been sitting on the, that's where it's sat on the, to bake it, on a rack.
Oh, this line here.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because it still would have been.
yeah, it's been sitting on a rack where they baked it.
Can I ask, do many bricklayers become brick collectors? Like.
Oh yeah, down in Sydney there's a lot. You know,
A lot of crossover.
a lot of the brickyard collectors are in Sydney. They come up here wanting to swap some bricks from me, and they come and get them. I've been swapping for 15, 20 years, and all the time they'd have a Sydney one I didn't have, so I'd swap them one. If I had 4 or 5 of those, I wouldn't swap them. I'd only swap the ones that I knew that someone wanted them.
Yeah.
But I've kept all the Hughes' one because they're my favourite ones. But they should go in a museum somewhere. You know.
What's your most rarest brick?
Oh, I like the Hughes and Jury's ones. They're nice. They're local. I like them. But I got some bricks. You know, I mean, you know, the oak factory in Hexham. I got a brick from there. They had a furnace there in their brick in the milk works, and it's got oak, OAK. And when they pull that, well, it's all gone now. That was priceless because I thought it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, it's something
Once it's gone.
gone. It's gone,
Yeah.
but it's got oak written on it. I've got them from. Oh, mate, some of the. I could bring you a whole load, a lot of different bricks. I just cannot leave a brick there. I don't know what it is. It's just me.
So did someone in the family collect too? Did your dad?
No, Dad worked on the railway. I've got one of his bricks he brought home from the railway one day, a fire brick. I've still got that. Dad never much. He was a worker.
Would you call it a passion or obsession? An obsession?
Probably obsession with me, I'd say.
That's what it sounds
I
like.
think so.
Pretty
Because my
Look,
my
I'm
family
not bad
think
with
I'm
it.
silly. They think I'm mad, don't worry.
So while you're standing there,
Yeah.
do you want to just talk about this brick? Because see how that's got more of a glaze on it?
Yeah, it's a finish of a glaze because what it was, on the other side had the pattern,
Oh, wow.
crisscross pattern. It was used on footpaths around Newcastle. And what happened with them, they had this pattern that was, originally that pattern was from the artist of Sir William Dobell. He designed that, and he designed these bricks for shop fronts, and they were used only for people on the footpath in front of the shop. And then along come the high-heeled shoes, and this affected all their walking on them. So what they did, they tarred them all. I got them a name with tar on them. And they tarred the top of them. They're all over Newcastle. Doesn't matter where you find them. If they dig up the footpath, you'll find them. Anyway, Hughesy was making these beautiful bricks. He had this pattern on them, see? I said, oh, try and get one of them.
So was there a purpose behind the pattern? Was it an anti-slip?
It was anti-slip, and it was also to notify that building as being a classy building that had history. It was just a well-built hill building with a lot of people shopping there, and that brick represented all the people in that shop for the whole of that area. And they're all round, you go round the junction, they're still there. But there've a lot of them that tarred over them. So the reason was that because the ladies with their high heel shoes used to get them caught in it. So they tarred them all, and I kept one just to put I left the tar on it just to show people what happened. But it was always in front of a well. The shop was a classy shop. It had to have a nice footpath, and they always put them down. And they all did it because Hughesy did it, and New Bowls, they all did it. They made those bricks with that same pattern. You go up to Morpeth, in the main street, they're there. They're all anywhere there was a good shop or a nice shopping area, you know, like you look at the old Co-op store, that used to be, that was the area of that area had all them, and they were, the council dug them all up and threw them away and put these modern ones in there, and they're horrible. And they could have left them there.
Describe the Dobell connection again.
But just that he designed that pattern, William Dobell, he designed that.
Where was he working at the time, Dobell?
He was just an artist, and they wanted him to art the bricks. So he just drew that up and said, that's what we'll put on the brick.
Was that when he was living at Cooks Hill?
Yeah, he had a place in Cooks Hill in the time, and he designed that. And he also I think he designed the other one with the rising sun. It's got the circle going out like this way, and he designed that, but I haven't found that in a book. I don't know, I'm not sure, but I know he designed that. And he Dobell or Botel, they got him to do it, so he just did it.
So did you ever have people volunteering bricks to you? Like they got...
Oh yeah, they do now.
Yeah, now they do?
They drop them at my front door. Every time. Some bloke dropped me some New Bowl ones the other day. He's a station master down at Cardiff.
Yeah.
He dropped 2 off. I said, oh, I've already got that one, but I haven't got that one. And he said, oh, I'll be back. He said, I've got some more for you.
Didn't you say you opened the door some mornings? So it's just like bricks.
Yeah, bricks on the step.
Bricks on your doorstep.
Well, you know, I paid $100 for one brick years ago. It was found in Glenlock Lagoon, and it's called Witzluck. My mate found it. He kept it for 10 years, and he said, I want to sell that brick. I said, what do you want for it? I want $100. I said, well, I'll give you $100. I said, I've been picking up money walking around the streets. The other day I picked up a $50 note down in front of the pub, and I kept on finding some more money, and next minute I had $100. The day I retired, 2006, I went to his place and said, I'll have that brick now. You want to sell it to me?
Never heard that one.
He says, yeah, it's $100. I said, well, I'll give you $100 now, give me the brick. So I got it off him. He don't talk to me anymore. Because I had that piece in the paper about that brick. And he didn't buy the paper.
So tell me the background of the Hazlitt brick.
Witzluck.
Witzluck, sorry.
Yeah, Witzluck, yeah. Oh, it's from a dowry. Oh, Tea Gardens, actually. And we were at Merriweather one day at the gun club, Glenrock Lagoon, and we were looking at this old house. It was just about falling down, and we're looking for bricks and mucking around. Next minute, he looks up underneath the beam of the house and sees this one brick, and he says, "Oh, look at this I got." I said, "Oh, what's that?" He said, "Oh, it's got witch locking on it." I said, "Oh, geez, that'd be right."
Yeah. So they're Tea Garden Brick Company. Yeah.
It was only in 5 years
Yeah.
in business.
Oh, okay.
That was it.
That's
So
a
probably-
short.
Very short.
Yeah.
I didn't bring it.
Yeah. What do you know about convict bricks?
Convict bricks, they've found mainly in around Port Macquarie. You get a lot through areas of Sydney, and I've got Port Macquarie ones. There's some from around Bathurst, because Bathurst is 200 years old, over 200, so you get convict ones there. You get a lot at Port Macquarie though. Port Macquarie is the home of convict bricks. There's Innes. He was a person in the army. He had an eye on the brick on his name, and he died in Newcastle. He was buried at Christchurch Cathedral, but then he moved up to Port Macquarie, and then he died in Newcastle, and he was buried in the Christchurch Cathedral, but now he's not there. He went back to, I think they took his body back to Port Macquarie, because he had a house up there, and all these bricks had an eye on them, an eye and a T, and they all come from that area, but I haven't got a T one, but I got an I one, because what I did, I used to go around antique shops back in the 60s, and you'd find people in there selling bricks, and they'd say, "Oh yeah, $2 each." I said, "Yeah, I'll have one." I get one with an eye on it. I thought, "Oh, that's different." I didn't know where it come from, but it had an eye on it. I thought, "Where'd you get these from?" He said, "I bought them off a bloke," and I said, "Oh, well." I said, "How much are they?" He said, $2 each. I said, "Yeah, I'll take one." I didn't take any more. And the next minute, he said, "They're convict." I said, "Are they?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "They come from port." He said, "Definitely convict bricks." I said, "Yeah, they've got initials on them." I found out what it was later. It was Innes Brickworks, and he had a house up there, and it's still there. National Trust won't let you in there, because the bloke wanted to sell me 3,000 of them. I said, "No, I don't want them, because you got them out of that house and you're not allowed in there." But it's been demolished, just about. Everyone going in there taking them, and all the stuff's gone. You know, people have been in there for years, and everything has disappeared. The whole lot. It's all gone. People are going in there. One bloke took 23,000 bricks out of there. 23,000. He wanted me to buy them. I said, "I don't want them." I said, "I got one. I don't want any more." I said, "I know where you got them from." I said, "You got them out of the Innes home in Port Macquarie. It's still there. I don't want them." He wanted me to buy them. I said, "No, I'm not. I don't want to buy them." I said, "I've got one brick from that place, and I bought it for a couple of dollars at an antique shop years ago." I said, "I don't want it. I don't want any of them." So I didn't buy it. Anyway, I got another lot. My brother was, one day, he seen this ad in the paper. He said, "Oh, there's bricks for sale out of Broke." I said, "Oh, what do they got?" "Oh, she's got a trailer load. It's 2,000. They're only 20 cents each." I said, "A trailer load?" "Yeah, she's got a trailer load." I said, "Oh, we might go out and have a look. He said, yeah, it's only $2, 20 cents each. We'll buy some. So we went out there. This was Blacklands, Black Slim, Wentworth and Lawson, the three blokes across the Blue Mountain. It was his house. It broke. Fordridge near broke. And all these bricks were there, and she only wanted 20 cents each. He said, we'll take the lot. So he bought the lot. And then we loaded them on this trailer, took them back to Singleton. I said, do I get one of these bricks if I help you load it? He said, yeah, righto, you can have one. So I kept going through them. They weren't all marked. They had a B in the diamond. I thought, that's Blacklands, original. I said, I'll have one of those. So I got one. They're priceless because you just don't get them. So there was 200 bricks in the trailer, and probably 50 of them had a stamp on them. It was the diamond with a B in the side, and that was in the brick. I thought, oh, I'll get one. So I got one. To me, that's priceless, that brick. I can't take it out of my house. I can't.
Do you think it would have been made on site?
Yes, over at Broke.
What year was it made?
Oh, probably about 1770, 1780. Convict brick. I thought, oh, this is good. I should have brought it with me. You should have had a look at it. But I'm a bit... It's convict and I just cannot take it out of the house.
No. What about Newcastle area, like convict bricks?
No.
Not many around?
Not only Port Macquarie or... We had some in Windsor. We had some in Newcastle. You know, where the... opposite the railway station. Yeah. There's that's convict's site. And there were bricks in there. You know who got them? Sydney. Kids, blokes coming up, brick collectors, taking them off that site. And there was, it was a convict site, because that bloke that found it was a mate of mine. What was his name? He found them with his dog. And he found these bricks at the back of that hotel, the back of the original from the corner opposite the railway line station. And they were all convict. But he come up here and just took the lot. Everybody took them. We had none. And I went up there and I said, you're not allowed to take these bricks from here. Oh yeah, we got permission. I said, no you're not. You're taking bricks that belong to Newcastle. They didn't take any notice. And even down at the cemetery at Cottage Creek, they took them out of there too.
Norfolk Island.
Yeah.
Oh, I got them from Tasmania.
Good.
Yeah, I got them from there. I got them from Western Australia. I got them everywhere. But Newcastle, because they had diamonds, hearts, clubs and spades, but they didn't have actual convict made bricks. They was only in Port Macquarie. That's where they were.
So in Newcastle they would have had like early industry, like early brick making factories.
Yeah, but they
weren't employing convicts, but
no, they were brick makers, but they didn't have a sense of having convict made bricks in Newcastle. Only that spot across from the railway station. And that's where they were, because that was a lumber yard for the... And it was just always bricks there. But you weren't allowed to dig in there, because the council had it all earmarked to be a lumber yard, and you weren't allowed in there.
Yeah. So do you know of any female owners, like proprietors of brick factories?
Yeah, females.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a few of them.
Yeah, can you tell us a bit about them?
Yeah, there's one at in Maitland. It was, they sort of run them with their father or their, you know, and they had a lot of brickyards, but, you know, Turton's, the family, they started in Newcastle, they moved up to Maitland and made bricks up there, and it became PGH, and there was areas where the women worked in them. They worked there with their husbands. There was always someone there, you know, and they were part of the family, you know, family brickwork. You know, we had, you know, there's Freddie Baker. Now, he was in Maitland, but he had his family working with him, you know. He was opposite the East Maitland Cemetery, going to Morpeth. He had a big yard there, Baker's, Freddie Baker. And all his family worked there. They all worked in the brickyard. And I've got some of their bricks from Freddie Baker's, and some of their relations live in Newcastle. They ring me up and they say, "Oh, you got any Freddie Baker's bricks?" I said,
And do you know whether, like, convict bricks,
yeah.
were they made any particular way? Was there any other special technique that they would have used?
Well, most of them were made in little boxes, square box, and they were made as a convict brick in a little a tray. I've got them at home. They're actually made out of wood, and what it did, if they were in a paddock somewhere and found some clay, they'd set these bricks up, put the clay in it, and just make it on the spot. And there was only an arrow on it, that's all, nothing else. If you've got little arrows, one bloke collects nothing else but arrows. He's got little arrows, big arrows, and I've got it, you know, like from Parramatta, I got a few, because the bloke had a butcher shop. And you went in the butcher shop, and it was, the whole brickyard was in the butcher shop. And I went down, used to catch a train down, and he'd say, "You coming in?" I said, "Yeah." "What do you got? Any bricks for sale?" "Yeah, he'd have a few." He had a butcher shop, me mate. And he had all these bricks in the butcher shop. So you went in there, you did a deal with him, I said, "Oh, you got any convict ones?" "Yeah, I've got an arrow one. Do you want that?" "Yeah, yeah." And he'd say, "Well," he said, "I'll swap you something." So I'd give him something from Newcastle. Next minute, I'd be walking out the butcher shop with his bloody convict brick. And I used to swap him anything from Newcastle. He'd come in and say, "Oh, I want that one. Hughes and Jury. I'll swap you that for that." "Yeah, swap you." We swapped all the time. We never bought them. We just swapped. Because he wouldn't have any Newcastle stuff, and I'd want an arrow one from Sydney, Parramatta.
So did you form a lot of friendships and social circles?
Oh, yeah.
With other collectors?
Other collectors, yeah. I had, well, this mate, I've still got him. He's in the Blue Mountains. He's still, he helped me write another book, and then another book. And he just, what he used to say to me, "Come down home, stay the night." No, I better get home. My daughter's at home, I better get home. "Oh, righto." She said, "Come down one day and stay the night. You can have a look at all the bricks." "Oh, mate, I've never got home." I would have said, "What time we going home?" He'd say, "Oh, I don't know, you can stay the night. What about tomorrow night? You can stay again." We'd talk bricks and bricks and bricks. Oh, the bus driver used to think it was funny. He said, "Here he comes." He said, "You paying for that brick to get on the bus?" No.
Oh, no.
He wanted to charge me. Mate, things I used to do, you would not believe. I nearly got put in jail one night for pinching bricks off a bloke in Derby Street. He had them on the front footpath, a pallet, and someone stole some. They said, "Oh, you're the bloke, you stole those bricks. You got that motorbike. I said, yeah, but I didn't take any. He only took one. He chased me all the way to Adamstown. He didn't get me. Anyway, he finally caught up with me the next day and he says, did you take all them bricks off that pallet at Derby Street? I said, no, not me. I said, I've only got a motorbike. I said, I wouldn't take them. I said, I'd be lucky to get one on the bike. Oh, he said, I lost a pallet load last night. I said, well, I didn't take them. He said, you had them on the footpath. Someone did. They took them. Anyway, he blamed me for it. Anyway, I said, I didn't take them, mate. Not me. Anyway, he chased me for days.
Tell me about the brick that belonged to the manager's house at Adamstown.
Yeah, New Bowls.
Is it, no.
It's a fire brick.
Near where the St Pius School is.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I know about that one.
Yeah.
It took me 30 years to find one. That's the one. That is a rare brick because I took 30 years to find it. I went everywhere, couldn't find one. Anyway, I was down at Waratah one day and this bloke said, I've got some bricks for sale. You want to buy them? I said, yeah, I'll have a look. So I went there, never found it. I went up the laneway, down the other end. I got to the end of the shed. I went around the corner and here it is. 30 years later, I finally got it. St Pius the 10th, there was a 2-storey house there and the bloke owned a coal mine in Adamstown opposite where Kmart is. And where, what's her name? Western. Yeah. West. David Jones, I worked there. Anyway, they said, oh, you finally got that brick? I said, yeah, I finally got it. I said, it's cream in colour. I said, it's got the name of the bloke that owned the coal mine, and he used to, every morning, he set the alarm off, blow all over Newcastle, all over Adamstown, to let the people know that they've got to go to work. And he'd have all the people coming to do the job. So they all come into work and he'd set the mine up in the way they'd work. And this place was there for years and it was a real old place on top of that hill where St Pius the 10th is now. And every morning he'd put the alarm on, a whole wake all Adamstown to get out to go to work. And I said, you're kidding. He said, no, he did it every morning. And his name was Rutley. And he had a brickworks. So I said, right, I'm going to find one of them bricks. If it takes me 30 years to get it, I'll find it. And I found it that day in Waratah. That bloke had it. I've still got it. Oh. And to me, all the bricks came down in that place, went to Sydney to build other houses. So there's none around. There's not one of them bricks anywhere. And I've looked all over St Pius the 10th. There's a dam there. I went down in there, tried to find them there, couldn't find them. And I finally got it. And I thought, and Ed Tongs, the historian for trains and all that, he's never seen one. And he won't see another one because they all got every brick out of that house, 2-storey place, went to Sydney. Yeah, a lot of people were brickmakers. There was heaps of them. And there was more and more bricklayers than what you think. And I got to know a lot of them because they'd ring me up and say, oh, I got a Richmond main brick. Now, you never see them. They were Richmond main, made by the coal collieries in those days and this bloke rang me up and he says, I've got one of them at Richmond main. Not I said, yeah, they were found at midnight when the old house come down. I said, I found them in the foundations of the house. and they got Richmond Main on them. Beautiful brick, and nice. And to me, they're priceless. They are the most unusual brick you've ever seen. The frog, Richmond Main, in the middle, the reddy colour brick, beautiful colour. And you'll only find them at Minmai.
Have you got any final things you'd like to say about
Bricks. Where will I start?
We're not starting again.
Is it
No,
3
look, I just think it's an amazing passion that you have, and to meet somebody that has just been following their passion, their interest for so long, it's very inspiring.
It is. It's fascinating to me that I've collected bricks 60 odd years, and I wouldn't leave one anywhere. And the last time I did a talk, there was a lady there. She was collecting. So there's another one in Newcastle. She's collecting bricks. She collects everything. She'll jump a fence, take all the bricks, if you got them laying around, and she'll take them out. Tell her to come out of my place. And she'll get some, 7,000 there. If she wants one. Take a brick.
Take a pic of your brick.
So she picks anything up. So she's got all these bricks in the backyard. She showed me on her phone. And all these bricks are all, doesn't matter what it is, she'll bring it home, see. So I'm saying, that's a Walls End brick. What'd you bring that home for? Oh, I just like it. I said, oh yeah. I said, I've got a few at home. I said, oh well, do you want Gulliver's? She said, oh, I haven't got one of them. I said, oh, there's 200 there, you can have one.
Just one?
Just one there.
I'll write to him. So what would you like to see done with your brick collection?
I'd like to see them all put in a museum somewhere and never to be broke. But that may happen, they're going to, or my son's already he bought a skip in out and told me to fill it up, which I collected sandstone. So I put all the things I didn't want, half bricks, everything in. He said, you fill it up? I said, yeah, it's full, ready to be taken away. There wasn't anything in it because all the half ones I kept. I had them from Tamworth and everywhere. If I found half a brick, I had to keep it till I find the full one. If I didn't have that half one, I wouldn't know. No, it's just, you do things to save the history,
You've done a good job.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love bricks. I mean, to me, they have got so much history of all those people worked 6 till 6 making bricks. They were beautiful. And they put a lot of work into them. The workmen worked 6 o'clock in the morning till 6 at night. Every night. Always. Had to have a brick yard. Look at them. You don't? You don't see them? History. Beautiful.